back here.
What do you mean?
You set a fire in my backyard.
It's called making a fire, Mom. If I had set a fire, your entire backyard would be ablaze.
Making a fire, setting a fire. Either way, there is a fire in my backyard.
You sound a little crabby, Mom. The fire I made is in your fire pit. Exactly where a fire is supposed to go, right? Isn't that what a fire pit is for?
Well, it's just that we never had one back here. To tell you the truth, I'm a little scared of a fire so close to the house. And I'm not a crab.
Well, you see, it was dark out here, except for those lovely stars up there. And I thought you had gone to bed. Good night to sit outside and look up at the stars. Then I got a chill. And I thought, it's nights like this that campfires are made for. So I gathered up a little of the wood you have, presumably so that a fire can be made, and set about making one.
Well, Daddy wouldn't have approved. He had to be in charge of everything, you know that.
You still call him Daddy? Because I don't.
He was your father, dear.
My father, yes. Not that he acted like one. But I'm not a baby. Daddy is what a baby calls its father. If anything, it's Dad.
If anything. Now who's being a little crabby, huh?
Tough day at the office, I guess.
Not the office. That's a good one. I remember when you told me about that job. I'd never heard of it before.
Barback, Mom. Your son is working as a barback. Or that's what I'm currently doing, but only while I'm staying here with you, just for a little while. I'll be going back to DC in my real job soon.
Yeah, well, Daddy used to. Your father used to say, there is no shame in any job. If you're pushing a broom in a warehouse, be the best damn broom pusher you can be. Remember him saying that?
No.
Well, he said a lot of things, some better than others.
Got me that caddy job once, when I was 12, though I was totally unsuited for it. And then he'd make jokes about my pants or my voice, as I followed a bunch of older men around a golf course and got them their drinks.
Sounds like what a barback does, doesn't it, Dan? Well, except you're following a bunch of younger men around getting their drinks.
That's the kind of joke he'd make too, but I told you, Mom, a barback doesn't get the drinks. He supplies the bar and assists the bartender.
Oh, so you're an assistant bartender. Sounds like a lot of responsibility for a grown man who doesn't call his father Daddy anymore.
So, any more of that babka left? Still make a mean babka.
If you didn't finish it all, there should be some left in the fridge. Not to pry, but how is Greg?
You're not prying. Greg is probably okay. Probably in a better place than when we were together, actually. You know how that goes. One day you're a couple, working on a few issues, and then boom! It's like a crack opens up in the sky. Are you breaking up with me? That's the last thing I said to her.
So he walked out on you.
Nothing that dramatic. He wanted to leave DC and move back to New York. Something about his parents getting older and his life needing a boost. A boost I apparently couldn't provide.
Couldn't you have moved back to New York with him?
Too late for that, Mom. Right before the end, before he could move out, he got sick. Real sick. I didn't mention it to you at the time because, well, you and I weren't exactly speaking much.
But for something like that...
So, our breakup had to wait. At first, I thought if he recovered, we could begin again. He wasn't talking much about moving to New York anymore, and he needed me at that point, so...
Damn. I'm so sorry.
The strange thing is, at the end, he began asking about you.
Me?
He always appreciated how you accepted him. Accepted us. Dad didn't. Or couldn't. But you did. You welcomed him. He always enjoyed the visits we had here. And your babka.
So your last words to him, are you breaking up with me?
Guess it was my way of saying goodbye, because at the end, he was really out of it.
So you whispered it to him at the hospital, or...
No, not at the hospital.
Oh, hospice then.
Actually, Mama, I said it to him tonight.
What do you mean?
Greg liked visiting you here in Florida, Mom. He said you treated him like a son. Aside from the politics here, he said he might actually like to live here one day.
Well, the two of you could have.
No, we couldn't have. But now Greg can, kind of.
Not sure I understand.
This fire, Mom. When I thought you were asleep, I came outside. And it all came out like a blubbering crybaby. Didn't expect it at all, just came out all at once. The reality of him gone, how alone all of us can feel. A chill went through me. So I lit this fire. Might be the first fire here in your backyard.
Like you said, that is what a fire pit is for, so...
Right. So, after I bawled my eyes out, I thought, this place is right. Maybe not right for me, but maybe right for Greg.
Excuse me?
The Florida light, he called it. All that sunshine. And the air felt lighter to him, too. And I didn't want to carry him around with me any longer.
Danny, when we lose someone we love, we have to expect...
So, he's here. Where he might have wanted to be, eventually, when his life sorted out with or without me. You see, this fire, these ashes, these crackling bursts of light and energy, Greg, Mom.
You mean that's...
I do. Once I made this fire, I stopped crying. And it all seemed to make sense in a way it hadn't before. He'd always wanted to be cremated, but we never discussed what to do with his ashes. I guess most people don't. And it was all of a sudden up to me. He's gone, Mom.
You're right. He was a burst of energy and light. I know how much he meant to you. Things were quite different with me and your father.
I imagine so.
You don't have to imagine much. You were there for a lot of it. It's odd to miss someone who could be so cruel, but I do.
Well, you stuck by him all those years, all those crazy years. How he treated you. And how you let him treat me.
How I let him?
Yes, I needed you then. It was just the three of us.
I think I needed you as well. After you left, it was just the two of us. I think his anger got worse, though he'd never admit it. Sometimes he'd leave for a few days at a time, then return like nothing happened.
Well, despite everything, the accident must have been hard on you.
The accident. Yes, that's what I called it, but there are many ways a person can find their way to the bottom of a staircase, no?
What are you saying?
Nothing you haven't probably imagined.
Mom, I never imagined that.
Life can be so strange. How things turn out. What you put up with, what you can't put up with, but you put up with anyway. And just when you think you can endure, something cracks. Like you said happened with you and Greg, and although you thought you were strong, everything has a breaking point. He just kept pushing, and I kept enduring until it cracked.
I could understand if you left him.
No, dear. Like with you and Greg, he left me. Not physically, of course, but his mind just... But unlike you, I haven't been able to cry. Or even mourn, really. That fall. That accident. He was going down to the basement. I reached out to steady him at the top of the stairs. Those stairs were steep. And he was a little unsteady anyway. I reached out to grab him. At least I think I did. It was all so quick in the end. Quicker than I would have expected. And everybody was so understanding, so helpful. And then they were gone, and so was he.
Are you saying you pushed...
So helpful, so understanding.
But you didn't really...
You hadn't been here in a while, had you? Busy with your life, which I can understand. I managed best I could. I took care of him best I could.
Oh, Mom. Mom. Come sit with me. Fire's nice and warm. One thing he did teach me was how to make a fire, remember? Scouts. Say goodbye to Greg.
Strangely, in the end, he'd become gentler, kind even. Believe it or not, he started to ask about you.
What did you tell him?
Just about how proud he could be of you. Your career in D.C., your success.
But not much more than that.
Toward the end, I think he was trying to put things together. He looked at photographs a lot. One of his favorites was one of you and him when you were little. I'm not sure he knew who it was all the time, but...
Sounds about right. He never did know who I was, did he?
I guess you're right. Anyway, he's still with me. This fire that you set, or made, he wanted to be cremated too. We never talked about the details either. He's in the house, but that doesn't feel right. Not right at all. No. Let me go get him. Let me release him and maybe release me. The fire in the backyard seems right. I'll be right back. And then I'll sit by the fire with you. And with him.
Mom, look, I don't think...
You've asked me for this recipe for years, Danny. Well, it's time I shared my little secret.
But Mom...
I insist. You can make the walnut filling first. 3 eggs. 1 cup light brown sugar. Light brown, remember, not dark brown. 1/3 cup butter melted. Very important to melt it first. 1.5 teaspoons ground cinnamon. 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. 4 cups walnuts chopped.
Mom, I don't know what you think you're doing with that box, but...
Lightly beat the 3 eggs.
Is that box what I
Stir
think
in
it
the
is?
brown sugar, the melted butter, the ground cinnamon, and the walnuts. Now, once you have the filling made, you can set it aside and begin working on the dough. I should probably show you. It's kind of tricky in how you roll out the dough. And... He liked the Florida light too, Danny, just like Greg.
He was nothing like Greg.
Maybe not. But you came here to my house.
Because I thought you...
Yes, I was happy to see you. Still am. But you started this fire and made your peace with Greg. I need to make my peace with your father.
No, Mom, not in this fire. This is Greg's
for
final...
the dough, you'll need sugar, butter, milk. Scalded, not heated. I mean heated, not scalded. Yeast, 2 eggs, 4.5 cups flour. It's a yeast dough. You'll need to have the time to let it rise. You didn't think this recipe would be
Mom, you can't
easy,
do
did
this.
you? It's a swirl bread, dear. Just a sweet yeast dough that you roll out, fill, and roll up like a jelly roll. Then cut, twist, and bake.
Who would have thought, the 2 of them?
I know it's odd, isn't it? But your father loved this place. He chose this place. Now,
I get it, Mom. You've always been a wonderful mother to me. And a wonderful baker.
and you've been a wonderful son. Not to worry, I know this recipe sounds difficult, but you've managed so many difficult things in your life, as we have together too. So let's make this babka together in the morning when we've both had a chance to sleep. Maybe make peace with things we've been carrying around. Some fresh coffee in the morning, some fresh babka. A good way to start the day. Good night, Danny. Oh, and make sure that fire is out before you come in.